Stop wasting years. Demand more. Now, the universe does not measure your life in years or decades. It measures in sparks, those white-hot instants when you decide who commands whom, when you seize the steering wheel from circumstance and wrench it toward the summit you once feared to name. Hear the crackle of a million unused sparks behind you, fizzled in the silence of hesitation. Feel the sting of possibility slapping your conscience awake. Time is not dripping. It is detonating. The fuse shortens with or without your permission, and every second you delay, a dream goes unborn, a legacy stays buried, a better self suffocates in the womb of someday. Enough. Lift your chin. Square your shoulders. Draw a breath so deep, it dredges grit from the bottom of your lungs. Then swear by every heartbeat you have left that you will never again bargain with mediocrity. Because mediocrity, like rust, never sleeps. It gnaws through the hull of potential until brilliance sinks beneath the waves. Raise your anchor, captain your storm, and make the ocean your testament. Mindset is the helm. Thought is the rudder. Napoleon Hill did not whisper platitudes about positive thinking. He shouted a war cry that thinking controls the material world. Carnegie forged fortunes because his mind was an anvil, where desire slammed into resolve until sparks became rails, bridges skyscrapers. Edison's lab was a cathedral where failed experiments knelt before persistence and converted to success. You too are a blacksmith of neurons. Each belief you hammer into place bends reality's steel. Think scarcity and opportunities lock their doors. Think abundance and even closed doors sprout hinges. Let no idea roam your mental corridors unless it pays rent in courage. When cynics flinch at your audacity, remember Socrates sipping hemlock rather than poisoning his convictions. He died, yet his mindset outlived the empire that condemned him. Such is the immortality of disciplined thought. Belief is oxygen for that mindset. Without belief, ambition suffocates. Lincoln entered the White House with a Union fracturing under his feet. Yet belief kept him standing when the nation knelt in blood. His confidence was not arrogance. It was an oath spoken first in the privacy of his own skull that the Republic would endure. Repeat such an oath for your own vision. Burn your doubts at its altar. Write your aim in ink that bleeds from your soul, then read it aloud until the words vibrate in muscle memory. You are not a spectator in the arena. You are the gladiator sword, forged from belief shield plated with self-trust. Every jeer from the stands becomes iron in your veins. Clarity follows belief like dawn follows night. Wandering intentions produce wandering results. Grab a magnifying glass and aim the sunbeam of your focus. Watch ideas ignite. Disney lost Oswald the Lucky Rabbit to a contract clause, but gained Mickey because clarity redrew his purpose in bolder lines. Define yours until it fits on the edge of a coin flip that coin each morning and wager your sweat that the inscription will prove prophetic, aims blurred by vague language. I want success. I hope to be better are smoke rings in a hurricane. Articulate instead, I will triple my value to the marketplace within 12 months by mastering data storytelling. Precision loads your pistol. Vagueness leaves you disarmed. Vision enlarges clarity. Stand atop the scaffold of imagination and paint your completed cathedral in full stained glass detail. Ford saw highways while horses still trampled mud. He did not ask critics for permission to dream. He conscripted vision to bulldoze disbelief. Tour your future in advance. Smell the ink on contracts. Hear the applause in boardrooms. Trace the embossed letters on the foundation bearing your name. Those sensory rehearsals trick the brain into familiarity. What feels familiar becomes attainable. But vision unbacked by purpose is a lantern without fuel. Purpose is the fuel. It roars like jet propellant behind every decisive step. Tesla stared down ruin because purpose buzzed louder than bankruptcy. Purpose makes toil feel like testimony. Ask yourself, whom does my dream uplift beyond me? When your mission includes faces you have yet to meet, fatigue loses its grip. Purpose welds daily drudgery to cosmic significance. It recruits the unknown allies Hill called the unseen forces of infinite intelligence. Those coincidences that bloom when intent is pure and unrelenting. Discipline sets the tempo. Dreams without daily rituals resemble castles sketched in sand at low tide. Establish a roster of non-negotiables, waking rituals that prime neural circuit study. Blocks guarded like state secrets. Production sprints timed like rocket countdowns. Evening audits where successes are logged and weaknesses interrogated. Beethoven composed even on sickbeds, filling margins with furious notation because discipline is love made visible. Build such a love affair with your craft. You don't find time. You carve it with the serrated edge of refusal to scroll mindlessly, to attend gossip congresses, to rehearse grievances. Each refusal sharpens the minutes that remain. Action chisels discipline into monuments. Barnes boarded a freight train with empty pockets and a full heart, declaring to Edison that he would become his partner. Years later, his name appeared on every dictating machine sold. The leap preceded the title. Likewise, you must leap. Send the proposal launch, the prototype schedule. The meeting risk, the number perfectionism is ego disguising fear as meticulousness. Ship version 1. Refine version 2. Dominate by version 3. Ship nothing and obscurity will invoice you for eternity. Gratitude oil checks the engine of ambition. Without it, success corrodes into entitlement. Lincoln wrote thank you notes amid cannon thunder. You can whisper appreciation while inboxes howl. Gratitude is compound interest on joy. It multiplies what you focus on. Catalog 5 triumphs, each dawn, physical health. Loyal allies, the luxury of another sunrise, and the day will conspire to extend that list. Gratitude does not dull urgency. It sharpens perspective, reminding you that fortune is already courting you, waiting only for your reciprocation. Adaptability is gratitude's dance partner. When you cherish what is, you pivot gracefully toward what can be. Blockbuster adored the present until Netflix dethroned it with elastic vision. Be Netflix. Court change before it courts you. Rigid plans snap. Flexible strategies bend and slingshot forward. Draft contingency maps like Eisenhower did, knowing that plans are useless, but planning indispensable. Let new technology shifting markets or unexpected setbacks serve as judo mat surface area against which you flip adversity onto its back. Resilience stitches these qualities into armor. Think of Harriet Tubman, guiding souls through midnight swamps, scarred feet, bleeding purpose into the soil. Resolve immune to the auction block. Your hardships will likely be digital storms and boardroom politics, yet they demand the same marrow-deep resilience. Measure success not by applause, but by the number of times you resurrect after being written off. Each resurrection adds another layer of bulletproof conviction. Learning is the alloy strengthening that armor. Hill's mastermind principle insists that every intellect is a doorway to another dimension of insight. Curate a counsel that spans centuries. Seneca for stoic calm. Curie for relentless inquiry. Mandela for moral gravity. Bezos for scalable audacity. Read their pages. Watch their biographies. Dissect their failures. Then convene a living council in real time. Mentors, peers, rivals who sharpen you as iron sharpens iron. Share playbooks, trade blind spot revelations, celebrate each other's surges. Knowledge sealed inside becomes stagnant. Circulated, it becomes currency. Execution welds knowledge to impact. An idea unclothed by deeds is a statue in darkness, magnificent but invisible. Light it with motion. Plan at dawn, execute by noon, iterate by dusk, and dream by midnight. Rinse in the baptism of rest, then repeat until iteration blooms into innovation. Momentum does not keep office hours. It rewards those who show up when doubt sleeps. Influence blooms from sustained execution. Sooner than you expect, your orbit will tug others. Lead by gravitational pull, not force. Demonstrate possibility so loudly that followers hear it without speeches. Carnegie funded libraries not to engrave his name on marble, but to engrave empowerment on minds. Let your influence finance someone else's epiphany. Legacy is the downstream effect of waves you set in motion today. Wealth. Monetary, spiritual, relational arrives as a byproduct, never the sole target. Chase value and wealth sprints to catch up. Charge every product, every handshake, every email with intention to enrich the other party, and the marketplace will tip its hat in dividends. Currency is applause for problems solved. Still beware complacency. Success is a plateau disguised as a summit, luring climbers into picnic mode. Pack your meal, but eat it while climbing. Edison patented over 1,000 inventions after perfecting the light bulb because he feared the paralysis of victory more than the fatigue of pursuit. Adopt his paranoia. When you break a record, aim to shatter it again before the ink dries. Spirit fuels the marathon. Behind each ambition beats a personal gospel, your interpretation of why existence matters. Cultivate silence long enough to hear it. Meditate. Pray, walk under unpolluted skies, and let cosmic perspective dwarf petty anxieties. Spirit infuses ambition with humility. It reminds you that genius is borrowed lightning, not private possession. Treat your talents as stewardship, not entitlement. Relationships are the circuit through which spirit flows. Surround yourself with allies who speak truth sweeter than flattery. The friend who applauds progress yet calls out drift. The partner who guards your dream in your absence. The mentee who watches your footsteps for guidance. Commit to mutual elevation. Resentment is acid on teamwork. Transparency is balm. Conduct tough conversations, early celebrate wins. Loudly mourn failures briefly, then reroute together. Health undergirds every other pursuit. Hill noted that sound physical health ranks beside a definite purpose. Protect your vessel. Feed it clean, fuel test its limits with sweat. Let it idle in restful sleep. You cannot sign checks, hug children, or broker deals from a hospital bed. Choose kale over chaos, sprints over stagnation, doctor visits over denial. Your dream deserves a body that lasts. Finance your dream strategically. Money hates desperation, but loves mission-driven confidence. Budget like a general marshalling troops. Allocate for R&D, marketing, philanthropy, emergency reserves. Reinvest first, reward later. Compound interest is the eighth wonder. Ignorance of it, the ninth fatal sin. Innovation keeps coffers full and relevance alive. Study trends, court serendipity. Host brainstorming lunches where no idea dies without trial. Assign curiosity a permanent seat at your boardroom table. Kodak clung to film while digital flashed past. Your dream must never clutch yesterday's triumph as tomorrow's lifeline. Experiment in small doses, pivot in large leaps. Contribution sanctifies success. Volunteer expertise, mentor youth, donate percentage points before the accountant suggests tax write-offs. Carnegie's libraries, Rockefeller's universities, Gates's vaccines. Each proves that generosity multiplies influence. Choose a cause, adopt it with ferocity, and embed philanthropy into the DNA of your business model. A giving hand never lacks reception. Faith seals the pact. Faith that seeds sprout unseen beneath frost. Faith that setbacks are plot twists, not epilogues. Martin Luther King Jr. described faith as taking the first step when you don't see the whole staircase. Plant both feet on that invisible stair and climb. Steps appear under conviction's weight. Doubt asks, what if I fall? Faith answers, what if you fly? Reflection steadies the climb. Journal like Da Vinci, who scrawled questions that centuries later still ignite innovation. Review numbers, emotions, alliances. Where did you bleed energy? Where did you print progress? Metrics are mirrors. Stare until the reflection tells truth. Adjust course without self-flagellation. Tomorrow's dawn erases yesterday's blunders if lessons were harvested. Joy keeps reflection from curdling into regret. Celebrate micro-victories. The email sent the mile run, the apology issued. Joy is rocket fuel that costs nothing yet doubles output. Laugh in board meetings, dance in kitchens, high-five the mirror after cold showers. Such rituals remind the brain that progress equals pleasure. reinforcing habits more effectively than willpower alone. Courage torches the last roadblocks. It is Rosa Parks refusing a seat's tyranny, a programmer quitting stability to code revolution, an artist unveiling canvases pulsing with vulnerability. Courage is not absence of fear. It is the harnessing of fear as horsepower. Whenever pulses race and palms sweat, whisper, "Ah, my fuel has arrived." Then floor the accelerator. Decision locks courage into trajectory. Indecision is a ghost town where ambitions starve. Commit with finality. I will publish by December. I will pivot my career within 90 days. I will invest 10% of revenue into breakthrough research, sign dates, announce publicly. Burn boats leaving only forward as navigation. Persistence drives the convoy behind that decision. It watched Shackleton cross ice floes with men alive on crumbs of hope, and it will watch you write chapter 50 when chapter 49 rejects you. Hill called persistence the sustained effort needed to induce faith. Sustain until success yawns and yields. At last comes influence at scale when your voice becomes anthem, your logo, shorthand for trust, your signature, a spark for investment. Handle that volcano carefully. Power without moral compass erupts destruction. Etch guiding principles into culture integrity, inclusivity, environmental stewardship. Tattoo them on office walls, recite them at quarterly rallies, model them in private choices. The world forgives failure faster than hypocrisy. Legacy emerges not at retirement, but every dawn you choose discipline over delay. It is the invisible architecture rising behind your tangible projects. Children you inspire. Industries you pivot. Mindsets you upgrade. All bricks in a cathedral the future will inhabit. Build high. Build wide. Build now. And now the climax in your chest drum beats. The fuse shorter still spits sparks that illuminate two silhouettes, the self you currently animate and the self you were designed to unleash. They lock eyes across seconds, shrinking like parchment in flame. One must step forward. Choose. Choose audacity over apology. Blaze over ember, front row over bleachers. Demand more of your hours, your habits, your voice. Demand sharper questions, louder answers, fuller laughter, deeper love. Demand to meet the version of you who terrifies complacency, who signs checks to fund orphan futures, who stands atop breakthroughs and flings rope to those climbing behind. Do it loud enough that tomorrow sends an envoy tonight, begging to observe the revolution. Do it long enough that years you once squandered beg forgiveness and volunteer overtime. Do it bravely enough that history nods, civilization edges forward, and eternity whispers a new name for you, architect of unleashed potential. The fuse is still burning, but so are you, incandescent with purpose. Storm the corridor of minutes left, slam every door of doubt, and carve your manifesto into the granite of time. I will not waste years. I will demand more now. And the universe, hearing that thunder, will rearrange its skies to make room for the lightning you become.